It's Christmas in July. Let's go make this patchwork tree skirt. But first, always remember to share this so it will save to your profile and you can find it when you're looking for it again later. I started with a Christmas tree skirt pattern from Missouri Star Quilt Company and a stack of 5-inch squares. Now, our pattern tells us to sew our squares together 9 rows of 9. So I have 7 rows of 9 already done. And we're gonna sew the other 2 rows together, and then we're gonna make our tree skirt. It's so simple. It is so simple. So I laid out all of my pieces. Okay, no, I didn't. Y'all know I did not do that. I just picked up 2 pieces and sewed them together until I liked what I had. And then I sewed my rows together. And now we're sewing the last row of 9 pieces. And we're gonna take our 2 5-inch squares, lay them pretty side to pretty side, straight stitch right here. We're going to open that up. We're going to add the next one, the next one, the next one, so on until we have 9 in a row. We're going to sew this with a straight stitch and a 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when we start and when we stop, because my grandma said so. This is a super easy pattern to follow, although we're not even making it by the pattern. We're using the pattern as inspiration, not necessarily as instructions, because we're going to make this round instead of a square with the corners cut off, but you could absolutely make it the way the pattern tells you, or you could make it both ways. Just remember, the pattern is not the boss of you. You get to make it however you want. I've sewn my blocks into rows. Now I'm going to sew my rows together the same way. We're going to pick up 2 rows, lay them pretty side to pretty side. We're going to straight stitch down the longest side, back stitching when we start and when we stop. Because my grandma said if I didn't, my stuff would fall apart. And when we get to our seams, we're going to make sure they match no matter what you have to do. Pinch it, pleat it, or pull it. Just make sure it gets there, because if it gets off a little bit, in just a few minutes, you've got one row that's 6 inches shorter than the other. And that's not anybody's best life. Are you the one who follows the pattern and it has to be exactly that same way? Or do you sew like me and the pattern is simply a suggestion? Now, you've sewn 2 rows together. You're going to open them up and sew the next row to it, and the next row, and the next row, and the next row. And you're just gonna keep sewing your rows together until you have 9 rows of 9. So I've already sewn 7 rows together, so I'm gonna sew these 2 to it while you finish your rows. And I'm gonna sew this the same way as we've been sewing everything else. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop. My favorite tree skirt that I own is one that I made from the Big Baby's Christmas pajamas. I made it many years ago, and now hubby says I have to make 2 more. Okay, so our instructions say to add a border to it. So if you added a border around the outside and then you snipped off the corners, you would have this shape tree skirt. Now, we're gonna do something a little different, I know. We're going to fold ours in half and then in half again. So I folded it over in half, and then I'm gonna fold in half again. And so then up here is where it all meets. Do you see that? And our tree skirt pattern says to trace this circle and cut it out, and that's totally great. You can trace it and cut it out. I'm just gonna cut mine without tracing it though. All right, so I've traced it. Now I'm just gonna come and cut up one side into the circle, because you have to have some way to get this skirt on top of your tree stand, right? So that's how it's gonna go on there. So now I wanna make mine rounded. And how do you make it rounded, you say? Well, it's really simple actually. Line it all back up like we had it. And we're gonna take a piece of ribbon, string, measuring tape, whatever you have that's long enough that will come from the corner all the way out to this corner. You want to come from this corner to this corner. Let me get a piece of string or yarn or something. Let's see, I bet this will work. Now I have a disappearing ink marker only because it's what I could grab. If it was a Sharpie, I'd be using that too, but this is what was there. So I'm gonna tie my string around my pen, right? Take the lid off of it. And I'm gonna take the end of my string and put it at the corner of my fabric. So this is what I have. Put my finger down and then kind of like, what was it, a protractor? Isn't that what we used in school? All right, so now it was very crudely drawn, but you get the idea. And then you take your scissors and you cut on the line you just drew. Or you can take a tree skirt you already have and use that as your pattern. I'm just showing you how to make one if you wanted to make your own. Okay, and now look at what we have. A patchwork Christmas tree skirt. A patchwork round Christmas tree skirt. Isn't this adorable? So your next set of instructions says to quilt it. If you're quilting it, I would quilt it before you did this part, okay? So I would quilt it and then I would do all the cutting, because this will be a little harder to manage with the shape of it than it would be if it were square. So quilt it and then do your cutting. Sew your pieces together, quilt all of it together, then cut the center out, down the side, and around the outside if you're making it round or just rounding off the edges. But for this one, we are going to simply put a back on it. So I'm going to fold it back up again to make my back piece. So now we're gonna make the back. And all I did was get a piece of fabric and fold it in half. So it's probably 1.5 yards of fabric maybe. And it's already folded in half one time. And then I'm gonna take our tree skirt that we just made and lay it on top of there. And after that, I'm just gonna cut it out. I'm cutting it so that I have the same shape from the tree skirt that I cut, because I wasn't using a pattern. I needed to cut it from this one. Otherwise, it was not gonna be the same. So I'm gonna come back here and trim this, and then I'm gonna cut that hole out and up the side just like we did our tree skirt. When you're cutting, make sure that all of your folded edges are together and all of your open edges are together. Otherwise, you'll end up with 4 quarters of a circle instead of one big circle. Ask me how I know. Okay, so we've cut the back of our tree skirt out, and this is what we have. It's Bubby going out the back door. And here's the front of our tree skirt, the top of it. So we're gonna lay them pretty side to pretty side, and we're gonna line up all the pieces. We're gonna start with the hole and line it up all the way around the tree skirt. Now, you're gonna pin or clip or not. I'm not, but y'all know I don't love it, but if you want to pin or clip, I want you to. And you're gonna start sewing right here at the bottom, and you're gonna sew up around the opening, the circle opening that goes around the tree, back down the other side, and then all the way around the tree skirt. It makes like one big circle. Once you get started, you won't stop until you get back to where you started. And you'll leave a hole right here to turn it right side out. You're gonna sew this with a straight stitch, a 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop, because my grandma said so. And y'all always wanna know, how in the world do I do everything? Well, you see it right here. My chili cheese dog and mozzarella sticks that I eat every single day. I know, terrible for me, but everybody has to have some kind of ice, right? And just so you know, my last meal would be birthday cake, ice cream, and a hot dog. Total kid party food. My favorite. After you've sewn it, then you're just going to turn it right side out, push out all of your edges, and iron it. And then we're going to top stitch it, and that's it. We are done. Unless you wanted to add some kind of embellishment or something, you could absolutely do that. Make sure you push out these corners near the opening in the back, because it's kind of weird to have corners in that circle, but you do, that come down the side like this. Now, you go iron yours, I'm gonna go iron mine. I'll be right back. You've ironed it. All you're gonna do is top stitch all the way around the same path that you sewed it together with, starting at the bottom, coming up around the circle, back down, and then all the way around your tree skirt. And then you're gonna be done. When you turn it right side out, if you take a chopstick, your finger, a handy dandy tool, not your scissors, and push all the way around the outside edges, it'll make it nice and flat so it's easier to iron. Do not use your scissors though. You will poke a hole in your project, and then you'll be crying because you have a hole. I'll be crying because you didn't listen to me, and then everybody's crying. Just don't do it. And after you've top stitched it, you're done. You're ready to go put it around your Christmas tree or give it as a gift, whatever it is you're gonna do with it. And it's so easy. Congrats on your 1st or 50th Christmas tree skirt. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.